Writing fiction is like playing an instrument. You need to practice the scales before you can nail the solo. But let's face it, no one wants to practice the scales. Everyone just wants to write the story rather than focus on a single technique at a time. But what if I told you that I had found a way to make this fun? Really fun. And what's more, you don't even need to make time for it. It can form a natural part of your life activities. Interested? I'll get to the detail in just a moment, but first I need to tell you how I came up with this idea. Last week I went to a dance show. The performance was a love story. First, they danced their first meeting. So the guy made a slightly hesitant move, the girl was shy, she made a response, and then they started mirroring each other, copying each other's moves. Gradually they got closer until they were dancing together. Fast forward to the second half. It's their first argument. The moves are more aggressive, they're sharper. They would get really close in each other's faces, and then they would back away dramatically. They were telling an entire story through movement. As a writer, I was loving it, but also shifting in my seat, feeling a bit redundant. What is the need for words here? What am I even doing? Maybe I should become a dancer instead. But what the show taught me was how to build physical presence into a story. What the characters say goes well beyond the dialogue. It's written in their facial expression, the stature they adopt, how they move, whether they choose to stand or sit, how they occupy space. I could bring in all these new elements from the lessons from that dance show. So if you want to learn how to bring physicality into your words, go see a dance show. My second idea is this: to learn dialogue, watch a movie. When you notice a scene has a big emotional impact, make a note of it. Come back at the end to re-watch it. A scene is not just a monolith, it goes through phases, and breaking down the dialogue enables you to feel the different moods that a scene will pass through on its way to a conclusion. By looking at the dialogue in this way, you will also notice what a character really wants. You will see a pattern in the things they raise, a pattern in what they say. It will also reveal their triggers. What are the points where the dialogue breaks down or it gets particularly heated? That will reveal their flaw, their weakness, their anxiety, maybe a little bit of something about their backstory. If you want to take this to the next level, you can read the entire script. These are easy to find online. This will really enable you to absorb the character's voice. What do they talk about? How do they express it? Looking through the entire script will also give you a clear sense of what the character wants and what is getting in their way, what they fear. I did this for the movie Before Sunrise, which I love. It's almost entirely dialogue based. And I found some surprises in there. For example, I knew the female character was hung up on death because she was going to attend her grandma's funeral. But reading the script, she's obsessed by it. She brings it up repeatedly in different contexts. I was also surprised by the fact that she initiates most of the topics of conversation and actually tends to talk for longer than the guy. In the movie, I had the opposite impression because the guy was louder and more expressive in his body language. So learning compelling dialogue is easy. Just put on your favorite movie or delve into its script. My final idea for this video is based on description. For this, try meditation. This is brilliant for writing because it forces you to just observe. That's it. It sounds simple, but is deceptively hard. Alan Watts, he does a sound meditation where basically you follow all the sounds that come up in the environment, and he says, resist putting a label on the sound. So say you hear traffic in the street, you'll say that's a car horn in your own mind. Just listen to the quality of the sound itself. This is critical for fiction. It's critical for making your story feel like it's set in a special, individual, unique time and place. What we want to avoid at all costs are cliches and general categories of description that don't delve into those particularities. We want to avoid something generic. Meditation will really help you get beyond those labels, those categories, just to hear for the first time, and then to write as if it is the first time. From meditation, we also learn that what we normally describe is not objective. Let me explain this. Firstly, there is an unlimited amount of things that you could focus on. What you choose to focus on reveals what is important to you. And so for your characters in your novel, it works the same way. It reveals their motivations, their flaws, their fears. The second aspect is that we tend to read causation and symbols and meaning into the world that aren't actually necessarily there. For example, as a kid, maybe you used to stare at the clouds for hours, and after a while you would start seeing faces form in the clouds. There's something similar when you go into a cave or rock formations, and people will call that the elephant rocks because they have seen the shape of what looks like an elephant's trunk. Again, whatever symbols or causation people layer on top of the description, you realize it's not actually objectively there in the world. What it shows us is more about the internal state of mind of that character. Once you realize this, you can do all sorts of things with a single description. You can fuse the external world with your character's interior world. That is when your writing becomes an atmosphere, an immersive experience. So meditation is actually the way to boost your description. If you do it already, that's great, fantastic. If not yet, then take 10 minutes a day. Give it a try. I know I promised it wouldn't take any more time, but 10 minutes is doable. This video has shown you how to boost your fiction writing on the sly. Do things you already enjoy and learn fiction in the process. It's a beautiful, big, fat cheat. The 3 examples were go to a dance show, watch a movie, or meditate. But get creative. Let me know in the comments how you will build your fiction learning into your life activities. Ultimately, it will help you see life more clearly and write more clearly. To get more inspiration on life and writing fiction, then subscribe. You can like too, and I'll see you next week.